Okay, so today's video, I'm going to be looking at how I installed this new sound bar, the Boss Audio BRT26RGB light or sound bar. It does have lights too, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'm just kind of looking at what I did to install this thing, how I wired it. This is not a how-to by any means. It's just a how I did it, because there's different ways to wire this thing up and all that, but I'm just going to kind of show you what I did here. So we decided, this is, by the way, this is my wife's Talon, so it's just how she wanted it. A lot of people do mount them back here on the back. I see the goods and bads in this already, but the good thing is when you have it right here, everything is, everything is right here. You're not having to like reach back around and look to try to do anything back here. It's right here, and it's not, I'm going to say it's not the loudest thing. It's loud, but I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so this is where we mounted it, and installing it's not that not that hard. I didn't waste my time trying to video all that. I will say, if you have a roof, take the roof off. It's well worth taking about 5 bolts out to take this roof off to install this. I'm going to say that. Up here it does come with a little USB port, auxiliary 3.5 millimeter jack. You can have any of those things. What I did was, I wired this thing straight to the battery through a switch, through the rocker switch. There's different ways. The reason I wanted to do that was because here's a little remote they give you. That instructions came with the rocker switch. The instructions tells you how to wire it. They give you this right here. You can wire this straight to the battery. The problem that I found, as much mud and water riding as we do, and these things, these cigarette lighter basically is what I just call them. You get water and mud in it. I don't know. I don't like fooling with this. I wanted to wire it straight without all of this and this and everything else. So it comes with like the 12 volt cigarette lighter plug, that's what I call it, that you stick in here and would be normally wired right to this. Stick it in, blah blah blah. You can run it, I mean, they give you a 12 volt right here in the Talon, but now you've got I don't like that. I don't like the cigarette. I kind of like stuff hardwired. So anyway, just to show you, I'm going to show you what I've done from the battery. To the battery. Okay, so here's the battery. What I did, I basically ran one ground wire from here all the way through, and I'll show you in a minute, but ground wire here. Here is, I ran, and by the way, this is 12 gauge wire. What I ran here, 12 gauge wire, fuse holder. There's a 10 amp fuse in that to the battery. This other stuff here, this is to the whip lights. But here's my 12 volt positive. Make sure you put a fuse in there. Here's the negative. I've got both wires running through there, all along through here, through the bottom. Comes, well, let's just, I don't know if you can see up in there. Comes through the bottom and then goes up in there. So there's the power wire, the 12 volt power positive. There's the green, there's the negative. Hopefully, I'm trying to do this with one hand, and yet make sure you can see what's going on here. Let's see if I can work with this. Okay, now I've got that going, running under there, through, up under there, out right here. The gray is the hot, the black is the ground. And what I did was these rocker switches, this right here is where it comes from the battery, the blue wire from the battery. The green wire, this ground is funny because I thought you can wire these rocker switches up one or two different ways. I didn't. If you want to have this down here illuminate, I think to have this illuminate, you have to run positive and negative on this side of the rocker switch, I think. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. That I could be wrong on, but just off the top of my head. I don't care for that to be all the time illuminating. So I just took and put it just like this. Your positive goes there from the battery. Your ground is right there. And this goes to your accessory, which in this case is the sound bar, which I'm trying not to get a lot of wires here, but here, right there. And I decided to add, I put a 10 amp fuse here too. I put a fuse in this right there. Like I say, here's the ground. Now, the interesting thing was about this is initially I had this ground over here. I thought that these two grounds would be connected. But initially, having this plugged into this terminal here, it worked for about an hour. And then it just cut off. Didn't know what the problem was. Anyway, what I wound up doing is this ground, I got this splitter. Matter of fact, it comes with, I want to say, no, yeah, I think it comes with a couple of splitters. No, I'm sorry. The rocker switch comes with splitters so that you can do this kind of stuff here with it, so that you can split it off. It comes with a couple of splitters. Anyway, I used one of them splitters. The green goes into one. The ground from the battery goes in. Ground to your sound bar goes to the other. They're both on one. Ground into here. Ground to your sound bar is here. Just one splitter, not that hard. So got that wired up, and then once I'm done, I'm going to tuck the wires in, and that's just how I did it. It works just fine. I'm not an electrician by any means, but I think this is going to be pretty safe and pretty, I mean, it works. So I can't really see where I could do anything else. I mean, if there is better ways to do it, by all means, leave a comment below on what I could have done different here as far as wiring. But this was about the best way I thought I could wire it, and it works. So I'm going to stuff it back in there and call it a day with that. But I decided to put a fuse in here. I don't know if I necessarily needed a fuse because the rocker switch, I think, is 20 amp. Is basically a 20 amp switch anyway. So from what I understand, if anything past 20 amps hit this, it would kill the switch anyway. But to be on the safe side, the directions do call for, if you look, I can't turn the page, it calls for a 15 amp fuse at the battery, which I have a 10 amp in it, and it's fine. If I have a problem with it, I'll go to a 15 like it calls for, but I put a 10 amp in. And also there is, in that cigarette lighter part, the part that plugs in here, the 12 volt, there's a 10 amp fuse in there, a little 10 amp glass fuse. So yeah, I don't like all of this, and so I decided to go ahead and put a 10 amp fuse in here just to try to be on the safe side. And so let's see, with the installation and all that out of the way, let's see, I'm going to cut it on real quick. And the rocker switch I just got off Amazon. There's like, I think it was like about $8 off Amazon. Just a plain little rocker switch. So I'm going to cut this thing on real quick. And then it does that. Okay, let me try this again. When I cut it on and it come on, because my phone is Bluetooth to it, it automatically stopped the video recording for some reason. So I cut my Bluetooth off, and I'm going to cut it back on to show you just what it does. So cut it on here. It lights up, goes through all the stuff. I may try to come back in a minute and video. I may get my wife's phone and let her play a song, because I can't do both. I can't play a song and record. So probably do that. Like I say, I'm not going to go into a bunch of features, but you can do all kind of stuff on it. I think it's pretty neat. So let me try to figure out a way. Let me get a way to play this thing so you can hear it, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna play it with it off, and then to kind of see what it sounds like if people's just sitting, and I'll probably step back and try to hear it, and then I'll crank it up to hear it, because a lot of times you might be playing it while you're riding. So what it sounds like with it running. And that's not even all the way turned up. Well, that is 31. But I don't like having it all the way turned up. Gives you an idea of what it's like while you're in it. Still pretty loud. And you can see it kind of like, you can program it to do all different kind of RGB colors. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video, I think. And as always, thank you for watching.